So the big question that I've got in this series is, do the Blazers have any chance of slowing down the Nuggets offense, even if Jamal Murray is not out there? There are some lineups the Blazers put out there that actually have been better defensively. It's usually with most of their starters in the game. Does Nurkic have any chance on Jokic? My bet would be no. I mean, maybe strictly in the post, Nurkic can do a good job of not allowing Jokic to get to the position he really wants to get in. Even so, Jokic is so damn good with the hook shots and the fakes and the Dirk-esque off-balance fadeaways that I'm not really sure it's going to matter. The Nuggets will, of course, have a whole bunch of action off of Jokic post-ups. They're going to have Gordon and MPJ cut into the basket. They're going to have a couple guys spacing out. Sure, none of them are Jamal Murray, but they're still good enough shooters. We'll see if Barton is healthy. Rivers, Campazzo, Monte Morris. And when I think about MPJ moving off the ball, whether it's a cut or something along the perimeter while Jokic is posting up, I really don't know how you defend that, because you're probably going to be forced to switch just so you don't give up an easy look to MPJ, but then he's just going to get a height advantage on someone. He's just going to make a shot over that guy. I guess your best move really is just switch and hope he makes a tougher shot. Will Derrick Jones Jr. play more in this series? If I look at the Blazers' wings who could have a chance of defending MPJ, he's, I guess, one of them. The other one being Covington, of course. But yeah, as far as defending Jokic post-ups, I mean, you could try to just defend him for the shot and hope that he misses a few, and you might even try to foul him without it getting called and hope he throws a temper tantrum. If you decide to bring extra attention on him, I mean, it's safe to say we all know how that's going to go, but you might be able to actually then close out to the Nuggets shooters and all that. So we'll see if Nurkic is built for that sort of thing. This also means Nurkic is going to have to not get into foul trouble, because if it starts to be Cantor out there, I don't think the Blazers have any chance of guarding Denver. Now, that is all just in the post. If we're talking about having these big guys defend Jokic on pick and pops, or just when Jokic is on the perimeter and then he's running all the handoff action with MPJ or Will Barton, if Barton will be healthy this series, or with Aaron Gordon or whoever, I don't think those big guys are going to have much of a chance on the Blazers. I mean, when I think about the pick and pop, let's say, I just don't know how you defend Jokic and the guy who he set the screen for without switching. I really don't know what you do. Like, you're going to have to close out, and Jokic is going to beat the closeout every time. I mean, I guess in theory it's possible. You know, the guard gets around the Jokic screen, allows the big guy to stay on Jokic, and then you're probably going to have to bring help from somewhere else on the perimeter. And then you're daring somebody to make a shot, and I guess your first choice would be Aaron Gordon, but they also might put him in the dunker spot. He also just might cut to the rim off of that. They're really tough to guard, man. I guess the other idea is you could go underneath the screen and you dare Campazzo or whoever to just take a shot. The thing there, though, is the Nuggets will then just run another action while you're below the screen. You know what I mean? Like, it's just tough. Now, when it comes to them focusing on MPJ, who, of course, has been the big shot taker next to Jokic without Murray, I don't really know what the Blazers can do. I mean, their best bet is Covington, but even he doesn't seem like a guy who can really slow down MPJ. And besides that, they just have too many short guys. You know, Powell's not tall enough. Dame and CJ aren't tall enough. I don't think the big guys can bother MPJ like that. I feel like he's just going to go off in this series. I think your best bet is just to surround him and force him to be a passer, but the Nuggets, a lot of the time, get him his shots through him just playing off of Jokic to where he doesn't even have to be a passer that much because he just got an easy shot generated for him. Not saying that anybody could do what MPJ has been doing, but you know, they're really making his day easy with just the two-man action, the handoff plays, the elbow sets where it's Jokic on one elbow, MPJ on the other one, and then they just improvise. You know, sometimes it's Jokic throws it to MPJ, sets him a screen. Other times it's a handoff. Other times MPJ acts like he's going to go to Jokic and then he just jets to the rim instead. And while all this is happening, Jokic could still just beat you with whatever he feels like doing. So, again, I don't know how the Blazers defend the Nuggets in this series. I really don't know what it is besides super ignore a couple dudes and just hope for the best. I mean, to me, the only way that you can consistently not give up open looks to Denver is by switching everything. But then Jokic and MPJ will just kill you with their height. So, again, I don't know. I also feel like if MPJ and Aaron Gordon really want to, they could devastate the Blazers on the offensive glass in this series. So yeah, I'm not really sure how the Blazers guard the Nuggets. As far as the Nuggets guarding the Blazers, so Denver's defense is like right in the middle for the season. They're ranked 11th in defensive rating, and you give them a couple decimal points or you take off a couple decimal points and they're close to the 20s or even a little closer to the top 10. So the thing that I would say, just looking at their personnel, is Jokic is pretty solid at stepping up on big guys, or stepping up on guards, I should say. But stepping up on Dame is a whole different thing, and I don't think he's going to be able to do that consistently. So the best thing they could have would be if between Monte Morris or Campazzo or PJ Dozier or Will Barton, if he's healthy, fighting over screens on Dame, or they can just go to the trap right away. It'll be interesting to see when they go to that, because that's the obvious counter to the Blazers running their million pick and rolls a game with Dame, right? And then from there, it becomes a matter of how creative do the Blazers get? Is it as simple as throw it down to Nurkic, who is usually the one setting the screen, or it could be Cantor, and then trust them to make the next play, and then hopefully there's at least one cutter to make their day easy, the obvious guy being Norman Powell? Or is it going to be, you got to get a little more creative, where maybe Dame throws the ball to Nurkic and then cuts to the rim? Or just whatever. You have CJ come up and maybe it's a double screen and you force the defense to just be a little more confused about what they're supposed to do, and then CJ's moving off ball. Whatever you want to do. Just what will Terry Stotts call besides hoping that Dame is really good? I think it'll also be interesting to see if Gordon ends up defending Dame or CJ more often, because I just don't know if the Nuggets have like a shorter guy who can just be on those guys all the time, so maybe Malone just calls an audible and gives him a size advantage. I think he could be forced to make that decision a little faster too if the Blazers are just killing the Nuggets guards. As far as any mismatch hunting for the Blazers going at the Nuggets, besides just daring Jokic to defend as much as possible. I mean, I guess you could say a similar thing for MPJ. I mean, he's made progress on defense, and he does make plays, block shots and that sort of thing, but just simple rotations and everything, he could have a tough time. Now, if he's defending Covington, makes it a little easier, because you're not going to run a whole lot of stuff for Covington. To me, it's probably just, these short guys trying to defend Dame and CJ all the time, and Powell, Campazzo, Rivers, Morris. Those are your mismatches. It's a little awkward because Dame and CJ don't have a huge height advantage on those guys, but that's probably what it is. If I can think about random swing dudes in the series, Powell is not random, of course. I do feel like, depending on where Aaron Gordon is really at defensively in the series, like who he's guarding, Powell could have an opportunity to go off, because if Powell's going to be on one of these short dudes, he could just muscle him out of the way, and he could be a big source of free throws and inside scoring for Portland in this series. We could have one random Melo game where he just drops 25 points or something. Could we get 2 Melo games in the series? That'd be pretty wild. I mentioned the idea of leaving Aaron Gordon open. I think the Blazers are definitely going to dare him to take some shots, and he could have a bit of a Marcus Smart-esque thing where, depending on his three-point shooting, that could tell you the story of the whole game. I think it's safe to assume someone on the Blazers is really going to hate Campazzo by the end of the series. That and all Blazers fans, of course. Derek Jones has not played a lot lately, and I feel like he could be someone that Blazers fans are screaming at Stotts to play more. There's a chance that he has a cold shooting streak and that's it, but he might be one of your other guys who has a real chance of defending MPJ. If Enes Kanter proves to be unplayable in this series, It would be interesting to see what the other option is for the Blazers. It honestly might be Rondé at center. I guess Harry Giles is also a possibility. Anyway, if I have to make a pick, I'm going to go with Denver because I just really don't believe in the Blazers slowing down anything that they're going to do and all the action that they have around Jokic. And I'm imagining MPJ is just going to be great. And I also think on the other side of things, while I'm imagining Dame and CJ are going to go off, I feel like Denver can do just good enough of a job on those guys, probably mainly through trapping, to slow them down enough and force Terry Stotts to do something. And I'm just not sure Stotts has that next move where he gets creative with finding ways to get Dame shots. Not as if they never run those types of things, but are they going to run them enough? Are they going to be good enough at them? All that.